An unprecedented fire gave rise to one of the most infamous and bloodthirsty tyrants in Roman history. During his reign, Emperor Nero, Rome's fifth emperor, was notorious for matricide, the murder of his wife, the persecution of Christians, and even marrying a slave. The world remembers him simply as Nero the Bloodthirsty. In the heart of the Roman Empire, a vast network of roads stretched over 290,000 kilometers, with the Appian Way being the most famous. The victorious 14th Legion, led by Commander Marcus, was returning home after 3 years of campaigning abroad.
We can see Rome from the top of the hill. Well, there it stands. Rome.
Marcus, eager to reunite with Rome, prepared to lead his troops into the city. But the captain of the guard delivered Nero's decree. The legion was to camp outside the city for now. Marcus couldn't understand why the soldiers who had fought for 3 years were denied entry. Though frustrated, he ordered his men to set up camp and rode his chariot to the palace alone. Meanwhile, Nero lounged in the palace, singing to himself. Despite his lack of artistic talent, he dreamed of becoming a renowned singer. When a maid accidentally angered him while trimming his nails, he kicked her away in a fit of rage. Just then, a guard announced that General Marcus requested an immediate audience. Nero was furious. He had explicitly forbidden Marcus from bringing his soldiers into the city. Why did people always defy his orders? After some persuasion from Marcus's uncle Petronius, Nero reluctantly agreed to see him. He was curious. What gave Marcus the audacity to challenge his authority? Marcus explained that denying the soldiers entry would demoralize them. Nero, realizing the potential consequences, scolded the messenger who had delivered the order. He clarified that his intention was to unite the 14th Legion with other returning legions for a grand, triumphal parade into Rome. This spectacle would not only showcase the might of the Roman legions, but also win the favor of the people and bolster his own reputation. With the misunderstanding resolved, Petronius and Marcus withdrew. To prepare for the next day's procession, Petronius arranged lodging for Marcus near the legion's camp. There, Petronius shared stories of Nero's outrageous acts, including the murders of his own family. The Senate had long been discontented with Nero, but lacked the military support to act against him. Marcus, however, had little interest in politics. For him, it didn't matter who ruled, as long as someone ensured the soldiers were paid. Soon after, Marcus and his tribune arrived at their lodging, where they were warmly welcomed. As Marcus strolled through the courtyard, he encountered a stunning blonde woman, Lygia, a Ligurian princess held as a hostage in Rome. Marcus was instantly smitten.
I'm not sorry at all.
Sorry?
Petronius arranged my stay here. If things go as fate surely meant, the man should be decorated.
At dinner that evening, Marcus boasted of his military exploits to impress Lygia, but she was unimpressed. She argued that the people he fought were merely defending their homelands, nothing to brag about. Just then, a traveler named Paul, a Jew and Lygia's friend, arrived from afar. In truth, Paul was a Christian. He had come to Rome to spread the gospel and awaken its people to faith. Marcus had hoped to invite Lygia for a walk in the garden, but his tribune reminded him of his duty to inspect the camp that night. Reluctantly, he left. Later, as Marcus returned from his rounds, he encountered Lygia once more in the courtyard. He wanted to invite Lygia on a date to his uncle's home, but she refused. It wasn't that Lygia disliked Marcus. She simply couldn't reveal her feelings for reasons she couldn't disclose. Marcus tried to chase after her to find out why, but he was suddenly blocked by Ursus, a guard. Frustrated, Marcus had no choice but to leave empty-handed. The next day, the triumphal procession began. The people of Rome cheered wildly, packing the square so tightly that not a single person could squeeze through. Marcus and his men waited outside the city for a long time, but the order to enter never came. Upon inquiring, they learned that Nero was late.
Gods of Rome, mighty, eternal, beneath whose auspices Rome rules the world. Jupiter, father of the gods, and Nero, his divine son.
The crowd eagerly awaited the arrival of their supreme emperor. Yet Nero, the star of the event, deliberately delayed his appearance. The reason? The sweltering summer heat had left him irritable. He despised Rome and its people. All he could think about was his artistic ambitions. Nero saw himself as the sun in the sky and scolded the commoners for their impatience. Meanwhile, the empress silently held his pet. Petronius, aware of Nero's artistic dreams, suggested that participating in the procession might inspire him. Finally persuaded, Nero appeared before the Roman people with his empress by his side. The moment the emperor appeared, the crowd erupted in excitement. Nero raised his hand, signaling the trumpeters to sound the horns and begin the ceremony. The grand procession marched through the city gates. Rumor has it that to film this scene in an era without special effects, the director used 32,000 costumes, enough for an average person to wear a different outfit every day for 100 years. This made Quo Vadis the film with the most costumes ever used. In the crowd, Marcus spotted Lygia. He had assumed she wouldn't come. After the procession, Petronius told Marcus that the emperor held him in high regard and that he would likely be entrusted with significant military power, perhaps even governance over Egypt. But Marcus cared little for Egypt. All he wanted was to marry Lygia. He asked his uncle's advice. Could the emperor be persuaded to grant Lygia to him? That evening, at the celebratory banquet, music and dance filled the air. The hall was filled with Nero's women. Lygia was escorted to the palace by guards, and Marcus appeared before her. All she wanted was for the banquet to end so she could go home. Just then, Nero and the Empress entered the hall. When Nero saw Lygia, he regretted not discovering her sooner. Sensing Nero's interest, Petronius quickly intervened with an excuse to dissuade him. Meanwhile, the Empress secretly watched Marcus, captivated by his strong physique. The nobles asked Nero to sing for them, but he refused, claiming a sore throat. However, at the Empress's urging, Nero reluctantly picked up an instrument and began to perform. Despite his lack of talent, Nero had always enjoyed drinking, writing poetry, and singing in the palace, calling it creation. Surrounded by sycophants who flattered him endlessly, they compared him to the great poet Homer. Over time, Nero began to believe it himself. Obsessed with the idea of surpassing Homer, he lamented that sculptors had their muses, yet he had none. Nero, who saw himself as the sun, longed to compose a poem about fire, but lacked inspiration. He believed true creativity could only emerge from suffering. What kind of suffering, then, would ignite his genius? He wondered. Perhaps witnessing a burning city would spark my imagination. After the banquet, Nero granted Lygia to Marcus. From that moment on, she would belong to the Marcus family. Lygia felt like nothing more than property, and she resisted the emperor's decision.
The guardian is no longer General Thought. You belong to the household of Vinicius.
But there was nothing she could do. While helping Lygia with her cloak, the maid secretly drew a coded symbol on the table. This was a fish-shaped symbol used by Christians at the time to escape religious persecution by the Roman Empire. The maid pointed her toward an escape route. On the way back, Ursus, Lygia's guard, distracted her escorts and she seized the chance to flee. The next day, Marcus arrived at Lygia's home, but her father refused to hand her over. Marcus noticed something odd. The way they spoke didn't sound Roman at all. Petronius suspected that Lygia might be a Christian, and that sending troops to search for her would only alert them. Through information gathered by spies, Marcus and the tribune arrived at the secret meeting place of the Christians. There they encountered an elderly man with white hair, Peter, the beloved disciple of Jesus and leader of the 12 apostles. Once a fisherman by the Sea of Galilee, Peter had abandoned everything to follow Jesus. Later, Jesus was betrayed by the Romans, and before his arrest, he prophesied that Peter would deny knowing him 3 times before the rooster crowed. As a result, during Jesus' trial, Peter, out of fear, indeed denied his relationship with Jesus 3 times. Overcome with regret, Peter later traveled to Rome to preach and establish the Roman Church. In the dimly lit cave, Marcus heard the teachings of Christ for the first time. Raised to worship the Roman gods, he remained confused by the spirit of Christianity. After the gathering, Marcus and his tribune followed Lygia, only to be confronted by Ursus. In the struggle, Ursus accidentally killed the tribune. Wounded, Marcus was taken by Lygia to her home to recover. When Marcus awoke, he was baffled by their actions. They could have killed him the night before, yet instead they tended to his wounds. He decided not to pursue the matter further. He realized that even if he possessed Lygia, he would never win her heart. He promised to leave her in peace. She no longer needed to hide. Now, Lygia no longer hid her feelings. She had rejected Marcus before because of their differing religious beliefs. When Marcus proposed to her, Lygia hoped he would convert to her faith and asked the missionary Paul to bless their union. But Marcus, still confused by Christianity, refused her condition. Meanwhile, Nero ordered craftsmen to build a new model of Rome, where every palace was surrounded by flowing water. This ideal city, free from the stifling heat, was Nero's vision of perfection. He became obsessed with his own genius and summoned Petronius and his ministers to unveil his masterpiece, a new Rome, rising from the flames. To inspire his epic poem, Nero then ordered the city of Rome to be set ablaze. Horrified by the news, Marcus raced back to Rome in his chariot. Petronius sighed to the empress. Nero's actions will leave an indelible mark on history. When Marcus arrived, the city was already engulfed in flames.
The sewers! The sewers into the river!
He had risked everything to find Lygia. Buildings collapsed under the fire, crushing fleeing citizens. Rome was consumed by chaos and despair. In the chaotic crowd, Marcus finally found Lygia. As they tried to escape the burning city, they were stopped by the Praetorian Guard blocking the bridge. Nero, in his madness, intended to burn the entire population of Rome alive. Witnessing the suffering of the people, Marcus, enraged, killed the commanding officer. He ordered the barricades removed, allowing the survivors to flee the inferno. As Rome burned before his eyes, Nero's wish was fulfilled. Nothing could be more spectacular than this scene. It would inspire his great epic.
Silence, ye spheres! Be still, ye hurtling stars! Open wide vaulted skies above. Now at last, lo, I see Olympus, and a light from its summit doth illumine me. I am one with the gods immortal. I am Nero, the artist, who creates with fire, that the dreams of my life may come true. To the flames now I give the past, to the flames, and so take now this road. Oh, receive her now, we pray. Consume her as would a furnace, burn on, O ancient Rome.
Yet the entire city was reduced to ashes for a few lines of Nero's poetry. This marked the beginning of Rome's persecution of Christians. After Nero burned Rome, the enraged citizens prepared to storm the palace.
Let us withdraw.
Terrified, Nero dismissed them as irrational mobs. He first blamed his architects, then tried to shift the blame onto the Praetorian prefect. The empress, however, warned him, "A few scapegoats won't quell the people's fury." Didn't the Christians prophesy that the world would end in fire? Let their prophecy come true. Nero found her logic compelling. Petronius, however, urged him to face the crisis like an emperor. Though Nero was ruthless, he was not foolish. He knew that admitting guilt would cost him his life. So he decided to scapegoat the Christians and launch a brutal purge. Meanwhile, unrest simmered within the empire. A group of officers, led by Marcus, secretly allied to support Galba as the new emperor. Petronius, too, signed his name to the conspiracy. Rather than wait for Nero to execute him, he chose suicide. In his final letter, he mocked Nero's poetry. Enraged, Nero ordered Petronius's house and all his possessions destroyed. Soon, Christians across Rome were arrested and imprisoned, awaiting punishment. Marcus, too, was captured due to his connection with Lygia. As one of history's most infamous tyrants, Nero had a twisted fascination with death. Ordinary punishments were not enough. He devised unspeakably cruel tortures for the imprisoned Christians. Countless Christians, like the Christ they worshipped, were crucified. Peter, the leader of the 12 apostles, also martyred for his faith. Feeling unworthy to die in the same manner as his Lord, he was crucified upside down. Nero, eager to savor the suffering of the dying, ordered Christians to be brought daily to the arena. He kept dozens of ferocious lions, deliberately starving them. When the Christians were led into the arena, Nero would command his servants to release the ravenous beasts. The terrified prisoners stood no chance against the starving lions. Nero, watching from the stands as the lions tore into the Christians, reveled in their agonized screams. To exact revenge on Lygia, the empress had her bound to a pillar in the arena. Ursus was forced to fight a wild bull with his bare hands, while Marcus, bound nearby, could only watch helplessly as his beloved faced death. After a fierce struggle, Ursus triumphed over the bull, winning the admiration of the Roman crowd. Seizing the moment, Marcus broke free and exposed the truth. Nero was the one who burned Rome. The soldiers of the 14th Legion then stormed in, overpowering the Praetorian Guard. Nero, realizing his doom, fled the city in chaos. The Senate declared him an enemy of the people, and Galba marched into Rome with his army. In 68 AD, cornered and desperate, Nero committed suicide with the help of his former lover, Act. Before his death, he lamented that the world would lose a great artist. This film is adapted from the novel Quo Vadis by Polish writer Henryk Sienkiewicz. Nero, infamous for his neglect of duty, the burning of Rome, and the persecution of Christians, became a symbol of tyranny and decadence in Roman history.